KTM and Chase Sexton at risk. Hey everybody, Walty Wanderers, buckle up, strap in. We got a hard-hitting, pull no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows, no sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing great. So who's ready to do a little moto whistle blowing as we examine the good, the bad, and maybe even a little bit of the ugly?
No, Walty, not the ugly. Only examine rainbows and sunshine.
No. Somebody's got to read between the lines and look between the ruts. And we got some big ruts developing right now over at KTM. They're at risk of becoming the next Suzuki. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. So here's the deal, my friends. We all know, based on the reports, that, and it was plain to see. I mean, they should have seen this thing coming. Ridiculous. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so many companies, brands, sectors, sports, the economy that did the exact same thing. I know in your town, you're probably seeing a lot of for lease signs, restaurants closing. They all base their projected sales on a blip on the radar, a stimulated an economy, artificially stimulated, and that's in fact what it appears KTM did. You know, they had these forecasting that they couldn't keep these bikes in stock because everybody had all this extra money. But now the party is over. The stimulus is gone. The U.S. savings rate now is at an all-time never seen before low in the U.S. and U.S. credit card debt is at an all-time never seen before high. So what that means is people have exhausted. They thought this was going to last forever too, and they spent that money right up, and now they're leaning on credit cards so they don't have to compromise their lifestyles. Unfortunately, at some point, their chickens are going to come to roost, and that's what's happening, I believe, over at KTM. A similar situation with Suzuki. You know, apparently somebody managed that poorly, and they spent $1 gazillion on who?
Yo, what's up, Walty? You know who got paid? Your boy, Bubba Stewart. That's right, neck burn, baby.
James Stewart. James Stewart was the guy they brought over to Makita Suzuki, and that was James's last hurrah. And the challenge is that pretty much that money they spent on James and him not delivering and not breathing life into that brand at a level that they had hoped for pretty much has tanked them. They're now still a kickstart Kenny Roczen driven team and not even the big factory effort like we used to see. They basically spent a bunch of money on Kickstart Kenny, and they're at risk. Although I will say this, I believe James Stewart, a better rider for sure than Ken Roczen, or a bigger star, or he's a better rider in my opinion. But Kenny Roczen is a smart guy. He's been able to stay on the bike. James, he ragdolled a little too much. Kenny boy has actually had his share of big crashes. He's been able to at least keep this Suzuki on life support. Now, enter Chase Sexton, KTM. A similar scenario. KTM had all this money. They overextended themselves by buying other brands and manufacturers, projected sales that is now all but gone, and they have spent a lot of money on Chase Sexton. Now, here's the thing. In terms of Chase Sexton or KTM at risk of Chase Sexton walking away, little to none, because he's already been paid. That money is probably in an escrow account, and he's safe. He's safe. But what happens after that? What happens if that money wasn't in an escrow account and they default on payments to Chase Sexton? Well, I'll tell you what happens. He ain't going to ride, most likely. He's going to pretty much sit down and say, if you ain't paying me, I ain't riding. Now, we'll have to wait and see. My guess is we'll see KTM will be at Supercross this year, and hopefully the outdoors and SMX. But there's a good chance that thing at some point could rear its ugly head, and some basically financial woes reach into that race program, and it's going to be gnarly. It's going to be a really gnarly situation. So I'm seeing a lot of similarities now that Suzuki had with potentially KTM could have similar scenario where they're hanging on by their fingernails. They've got this big high-powered star, Chase Sexton, but they can't afford to pay everybody else. Something's got to give. Nobody's going to work for free. and they're probably going to try to dangle a carrot in front of whatever it's personnel, management, office, corporate, riders, mechanics, you name it, and say, hey, stick with us. We're gonna take care of you. We've got a plan. You know, the reality is they have to be throwing stuff overboard right now. That company, because this is what companies do before they go belly up, is they try to trim the fat and they try to get a little lighter, and they try to weather the storm. Unfortunately, they're already at bankrupt risk, which makes this a little more challenging. In final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator, as a moto guy that wants to see you not only win on the track, off the track. Understand the waters you're swimming in now, shark infested. KTM, Chase Sexton, welcome to the swimming pool. It's getting a little bit dicey out there right now. I'm sure with social media, they're painting a pretty picture, but behind closed doors, let me tell you, my guess is they're not in their conference rooms talking about rainbows and sunshine. They're talking about how we're going to weather this storm. And that's why Walty will be here to blow the lid off it every step of the way, because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media links in the description of this video if you'd like to follow me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you enjoyed this video, you're going to love the next video, and there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Don't go over the bars. God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.